Get way more than that.
You said you got it.
These Bibles don't be having enough.
Yeah.
Yes, if you have a pen too, that would be great.
It doesn't have the,
Doesn't.
so I do have. New revised.
But you know, we
So,
got it,
yeah,
we ain't worried.
I ain't worried at all. I'm so thankful I've been in positions before. So when that tentativeness comes upon you, you just be like, nah, man, I don't understand what this is about to be.
It's gonna be mighty. I'm excited. Thank you. I'm sorry. Thank you so much.
So they got broke about.
I just sent it to him.
That's what's up. That's right. Came with my
James, did you get the song? I hope you checked it.
Yeah, just playing that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. $2, because when they stand up,
Are you gonna stand up?
Oh,
At the end.
oh, at the end.
Okay. So, okay.
so when they stand up to pray, that's $2, so you gotta put it
Okay,
back in.
wait, wait. Okay, got you.
I think I'm the tiny one on this. Everybody else will be a king size, I'm just fun size.
Both sides works with all sides. Praise him that he does.
Listen. I find it real interesting that the ladies came in with color and the guys got on black.
I almost put him on black too. I was like, let me not dress like that all the time.
Just that whole,
Oh
Yeah,
my,
your hat,
that,
he's always put that.
yes, sir.
I'm not on.
Yeah, this is extremely sensitive.
Yo.
Testing.
Testing.
So, let me raise this up for you, so you don't have to leave for lunch.
Do we have to lean into? Oh, no. There we
I
go.
was gonna pick up.
Testing 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yo. Testing.
Testing 1, 2, 1, 2. Testing.
Brad,
Yo, you hear me? Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, and 3. Is that good?
yes, sir.
All right.
testing, 1, 2, 2, 2, testing, 1, 2.
Good, good. Yes, I got to send that out. I don't get it. I don't get it. Five, four,
Oh, man. There
three,
you go.
2.
Hey, welcome. This is Real Talk 101, The Devil Exposed, here on a Sunday afternoon, 2 to 4 p.m. at U Broadcast Media. And as you can see, we got a full desk. We got a very, very sensitive topic today, but you know how we usually begin. If this is your first time watching this, what I want you to do is say a silent prayer in your heart, asking for the indwelling of the Holy Spirit, because what we are going to be dissecting up here is the Word. And the Spirit is the one who's going to be leading us through this word. And he's going to be the one giving you confirmation of what we say is either true or not. And that's what we do here. On a week-to-week basis, we discuss the past week's revelations, studies, conversations that we have had with the Most High and how he has led us from point A to point B. And also, within those revelations, we see and we are exposed to how the enemy moves against us so that we can see his actions, call them out, and make sure that we are on the right path and everyone else around us. What we usually do to open the show is we go around and offer a prayer request. We see what the prayer requests are. Then we invoke the Spirit by saying a word of prayer. We have a word of testimony. Then we jump right in. What I'm going to do is, you already know who I am. You see my brother O here at the desk. I want to let the ladies who are with us introduce themselves, starting to my right. Hello, Miss Lady. What's your name? Introduce yourself. You got any prayer requests?
I am Angela Nicole. I do have prayer requests. Definitely, my sister, which she would probably explain herself. And my family, my uncle lost his wife. We just had her funeral last Saturday in, I think it's called Crozier, Virginia. And then teachers as well. We don't pray enough for them. We are fighting a lot warfare-wise, but there's also COVID, and the children are getting it and bringing it into the schools. So that's definitely something that's been on my heart to pray for, and then the youth as well. With the violence they have been seeing, I don't know if anybody knows because they're not putting it on the news, but the teenagers from the ages of like 12 to 17, there's been a rise in violence in that age group. A lot of beef happened, during the summer or whatever, and they've been basically taking each other out now that they're back in school. So definitely want to lift that up. But that's it for me.
All right, young lady to my left. You introduce yourself, prayer request, so forth.
Jennifer. I prefer Jen, 2 N's. As far as prayer requests, I'm trying to find a way to say it, but praying for family, health, family health, and strength and wisdom to traverse, bureaucracy, paperwork, all kinds of things, in that arena. And to piggyback on what Angela shared, I definitely am standing in agreement with the prayer for the youth. Over the last 3 days, I've had 2 different males come and say that there were threats of shootings at their school, one in North Carolina and one in Virginia. And same week, almost like literally the next day. One came one day and the next, the other the next day. And so just praying for the young men, praying for the school system. So those are my prayer requests. Thank you.
Brother O, what's going on with you, brother?
Blessed by the best. I'm back on this flip phone, man. I broke my phone. I need an Android. Everybody got a phone. Everybody got a phone. I have money. I'm pretty good though. My prayer request kind of remain the same. I'm not sure what the update is on my man's mother. Miss Francis, I asked for, prayer for her. It was something else recently happened. I don't know, the typical, the youth that matter of fact, not. What I recognize taking place with the Most High is kind of making clear what the steps really should be going forward in this writing down document where we've been shown tradition to be wrong and laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High that he's reiterated. You know what I'm saying? I think that all this needs to be written down again. I don't know how this going to happen, but that a way be made for we to get everything, so we don't have to sit with 1,000 different books. You know what I'm saying? The truth, not just what has been told us to be from whatever religious organization, but a book that has the real basic instructions before leaving Earth. You know what I'm saying? Not just a bunch of Yeah, so that the Most High would work that out somehow, because I mean personally, I don't mind carrying my bag, but I'd rather have one book, you know what I'm saying, one source to go to and just sit and commune with the Most High. The youth, like Angel said, man, it's about the youth. My man made an excellent point, you know what I'm saying? It ain't even about trying to get these old jokers to change their mind. They the reason why we got a lack of knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Because they lunched out. But the youth, we can give them our understanding of what we received and watch it grow new, as opposed to keep trying to convince these old people.
Pray they receive it.
Most time gonna have to wait. His will will be done.
One way or another. But for myself, you finished?
Yeah, bro.
For myself, I got a sort of a prayer request, and it's intermingled with the testimony. This week on Wednesday, got a text that my father's youngest sister, Mom Christine, is very dear to my heart. She's my godmother too. She came down with COVID, and the text, of course, flew around the family like wildfire. And I immediately called her. She was on the phone with another one of my cousins. As soon as I heard her voice, I knew what the deal was. Because you see, the past couple months, I've been having conversations with my Aunt Chris, who sometimes been written off as, being kind of to herself, or she's doing her own thing, is that the third. Every time I speak to her, she testifies of the Most High. She testifies of the things that she's seen during these last days and times that a lot of people are ignoring, and she's seeing the significance. Like, it doesn't make sense to her why we have to have so many shots to be quote unquote vaccinated. It doesn't make sense to her why people in high positions of authority keep lying and doing things that are arbitrary to the things that they promise people. She sees all that. Not only that, she sees the negligence in religion. And it's so prevalent, and I hear it when she speaks, to the point where I was like, yeah, y'all showing me the light. But you know who's being given light by the way that they speak. So when I talked to her, and I was like, hey, Aunt Chris, how you doing? She said, baby, I talked to the Most High about this 4 months ago. I ain't going nowhere. I feel 100% fine, like my regular self. Who could tell me I got COVID? So you know what? I talked to the Most High last night. I'm telling you exactly how she's speaking.
Wow.
Just all confident. She's like, you know what? He settled in my mind. The only reason why I have this is to be a testimony to my family. Because they are so scared. They're so scared of this shot. They're so scared of this disease. But do you know who you trust? Do you know who has our health in the palm of his hand? She's just gone. Now, I'm on the phone on a 3-way call with another one of my cousins, like I told you, who lives in Cali. She's nervous. I can hear it in the voice. She's like, okay, you sure you ain't being around people? She's not listening to the words that my aunt is speaking. She's more concerned about her safety and her separation from everybody else. She's like, baby, I was in the same area as about 3-4 of my friends, and we all got it. And we all fine. Simple, and I said, go ahead. The only thing I could do was affirm. I said, go ahead, Aunt Chris. She's like, I ain't going nowhere, baby. And if I am, I know who I'm gonna see when I'm gonna wake up. See, she has the peace that I've heard so many other people have on their deathbed, but she has it right now while she's living, walking around. Because she knows who she is, who she belongs to, and who the promise has been made to. She also understands what she is and what she comes from, because she knows about our history. And when I say history, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
She knows who she is a part of. She knows she's Yasharal. She knows that. And she has a hard time getting it out sometimes, because she has a lot of thoughts. And she is of age, and she has a memory like an elephant. So whenever she talks, she always goes in multiple directions. A lot of people tune her out. But the Most High has attuned my ears to listen and to hear and to minister. And I'm thankful for her, because as I see her eyes opening up, I see other members of my family doing the same thing. I got testimonies galore, yo.
Yeah.
My prayer can be consistent as, let the Most High continue to reveal his light in his time and in his perfect way. Because I see him doing it. It don't matter how long it take him. His timing is perfect. And so I put that out there for all you all to hear. Continue to pray for your loved ones, your friends, your families, that they might see the truth. The Most High, his arm is not so short that he don't show mercy. It's not so short that he cannot save. It says that in the word. He always has the ability, always has the way. Nobody is always further gone that he cannot reach them and get them and grab them if he wants to. His mercy is so abundant because we are so ignorant to the things that he knows we don't know.
Yeah.
He himself permitted us not to know. So my prayer request is this: don't despair. Let none of us be in despair. None of us have fear or worry, but just to be stronger and more motivated to get closer to the Most High, his truth and his word. That is the most pertinent thing. So I'm praying for that. So let's go ahead and invoke the Spirit. We're gonna get into this thing. Bow your heads. Yahuwah Elohim, Yahuwah Sabaoth. Beautiful is your name, gracious is your name, glory to your name, majesty to your name, forever and ever and ever. One who was, who is, and who is to come. The one who before the foundations of the earth were laid knew that the four of us would be sitting here right now. That blows my mind. The fact that you knew each and every one of us in the womb caused us to be born at the times we were born in so that we can all meet together today to fulfill your purpose. You know the discussion that is before us. You know it ain't easy, not by no stretch of the means. And so before we do anything else, Father, we want to ask that you descend upon us, your Holy Ruach HaKodesh, which will lead and guide us into all truth. May it take control of our tongues. May those who hear the words that come out of our mouths know that it ain't us speaking, but let them hear you. And let the words and the thoughts that we display here on this program today be echoed in their hearts and minds going throughout the rest of the week. We have several prayer requests, Father. We have certainly prayer requests over our youth, the violence that's going on that they seem to gravitate towards, the directionless lifestyles that they've taken upon themselves to pursue, the lack of understanding and the ignorance, and not even the wanting or the will to hear what truth is because of the circumstances they find themselves in on a day-to-day basis. You see who their leaders are, who their distractions are, what they covet on a day-to-day basis, Father. Only you can reveal yourself to them in a supernatural, miraculous way so that they all see together. And I know you can do it because you've done it before, but we pray for them to be spared. We pray that the devil not have his way just to take him out because, he's looking at the seed that's supposed to crush his head. That's why he's trying to take him out left, right, and the third. We got threatenings of shootings and violence at various schools. You know all these plans. Father, you know what is transpiring every minute of every day. And like my brother be saying all the time, don't nothing happen in the realm of existence that don't pass through your throne room first. So only way things get moved and changed is when we lift up these requests before you. And we also have the assistance of the Spirit, which murmurs and grumblings, which we cannot even utter. All ministering right now, Father, coming boldly before your throne, asking you to stay the violence, stay the tide of iniquity, stay the tide of wickedness that the devil wants to just continue to unleash. We see him having his way in the world, but we ain't friends of the world because friends of the world are enemies of you. We're with you, Father, and we're praying for those who don't know the difference between friend and enemy of the world. That's what we're lifting up right now. Father, be with them, be with the teachers, be with those who are in positions of governance, those who are in positions of supervision over these children. Give them the strength, give them the courage. Because amidst all these things that are happening, we still got this whole COVID mess to deal with. Just like Aunt Chris said, I know who I am and I know who I belong to. We know that same thing. We know that all power is in the palm of your hand. And shoot, if you snapped your fingers, barely even did that, if you blinked your eyelash, COVID would be eradicated from the face of the planet. So we know that you know what's going on, that you're still in control. We ask that you keep us, guide us, and bless us, and keep us in the midst of these difficult times as far as health concerns are going, Father. Continue to fill up our reserves of strength, of wisdom, of discernment in these last days. Keep us fervent. You know how the devil's going to try to distract us. He knows each and every one of our weaknesses. But you, Father, are our strength when we are weak. When we are weak, you are strong. That's what your word says because we lean and depend on you. So please keep us in that manner. I want to pray for Angela's sister. I want to pray for Miss Francis. You know, what always presented before you that we can have a more centralized word of law, statutes, and commandments that we can refer to. And I know all that's coming. But you putting us in positions of teachership and of instruction. And when that happens, stuff must be written down because we're going to come with what is needed to finish these last couple laps of this race because surely this thing is wrapping up. I mean, surely it is. And we pray for those who can't see it. The enemy is very good with his deceptions. Right? You said if it were possible, even the very elect would be deceived. We praise you for keeping us from that deception, and keeping us and showing us your light and your truth and causing us to draw nigh unto you. And I know it's for a purpose, for a reason, or else everybody would have it. So, Father, continue to show us what your purpose is for our life each and every day. And let that reflection of our relationship with you be shown to our families and our friends to cause them to question and to wonder and to wake up from the slumber that a lot of us seem to be in. Continue to be with our emotions. You know how they get in the way, Father.
Oh my.
Because we built like that. But let us put all emotion to the side when it comes to the word. your direct word that comes straight from your mouth. Let us lean wholly upon that and nothing else, because we know that ain't gonna fail, because you don't fail. You don't lie, you don't break promises or covenants. You ain't never had a problem doing it in the past, and you never had no record of you failing before, so why should I start believing you gonna do it now? Thank you for giving us this platform, something that we surely do not take for granted. Thank you for the studio, the awesome blessing that you have provided for even for those that manage the studio, those that come in and out of the studio. I ask that you be with them. Those that work here tirelessly day by day in the studio, I pray for them. And I'm going to thank you again ahead of time for the insurmountable blessing that you're going to bestow upon this place with resources, with funding, with everything we need so we can provide daily programming of truth and worship in your holy name. Father, you know my heart is full right now, knowing about the multitude of things that you are planning that I can't even see. It gets me giddy to even think about like a child, man, because I know you always got something cooking, always something coming. It's going to be for your name's honor and glory, but the fact that you would include the four of us here in it, with the lives that we've led, with the things that we've done, with the iniquities that you've thrown behind your back and forgotten, but we ain't forgotten, to keep us in a position of humility and of reverence to you. That's why we have gone through everything that we have gone through. That's why we face all the difficulties, to keep us close. And if that's what's necessary to keep us close to you, send them on. Because you walk with us through the fire, through the water, through the storm, through the rain, through the hard times. You are right there. You ain't never left. If we reach out to you and have the faith to do so, you will answer, you will be there, just like your word says. Thank you for hearing and answering these prayers. We thank you for assembling us yet again. And at the end of the day, all praise goes to your name, honor, and glory forever. In the name of Yahushua, I pray. Amen. All right, y'all. Here we go. Title of today's program, as I'm sure you've seen, is He Said, She Said. I'm going to talk a little bit about the initial thoughts of how this came about. Speaking for myself, and I know there's going to be other testimonies up here. I'm going to open it up for you guys to talk about how you've seen this in the natural world, the modern world today. I have seen evidence in my life to where I've been reclusive, maybe silent, and standoffish for the sake of something that wasn't important, rather than not getting into debate or getting into arguments with the opposite sex. And when I see that in myself, it goes against my nature, because there's consternation whenever I've felt this in the past. And it's a gradual process to come about. I was born, I can't say I was born in it, but I was raised in it. I have seen in my life female figures in my family take a more dominant role, have more of a say and a direction over not only the things that go on in the household, but things also in religion. I've seen it happen, even with my very own family having such prominent positions in religion as they did. I often saw behind the scenes how the women really pulled the strings and things like that. And I even when, back in the day, I used to go to church quite frequently, I would see couples who were not married and then married, and I would always look at and watch the behavior of the men when it came to the point where they had to either deal with their wife or significant other, whoever it was, or when they went ahead and took control of a situation, and then you look to see what the man is going to do because he's the man. Now, me, my eyes are always going to fall on that because I'm the man. So I'm not going to be looking at what the woman's doing. I'm just like, man, what is he doing? And so many times I've seen faces of shame. I've seen faces of being tired. And when I see that type of thing, it causes me to question, it's like, is this the way things are supposed to be? Is the Most High cool with this? And the reason why I have this type of thought is because I've begun to question everything that we have seen as commonplace and tradition for so long. And by doing this, it's a perilous undertaking, because you're going to find out stuff that maybe you ain't want to know. Or it's maybe going to be difficult for you to understand and stomach. But I will learn one thing of dealing with the Most High. I love his chastisement because it gets me right. I ain't like it at first. It ain't never comfortable. So before I look at anybody else, I look at myself. And I've taken every issue that I've wrestled with to him in prayer. And he's worked out everything with me and shown me the way through his word Today, what we are tackling is going to be, it's been called the spirit of Jezebel versus the spirit of Ahab, male femininity and female masculinity, and how we see it to be so prevalent in the world today. The causes, the roots of these types of behaviors, the proclivities that both men and women have towards these type of behaviors. Where did all this start? How did it become so popular? And how is it now such a sin to speak against when the Most High ain't been down with this since the beginning? We're going to dwell into that as well. If you get on any type of social media, you know, people be posting TikToks and videos and little stuff they do. They usually people put like a soundtrack behind, you know what I'm saying? And when I hear certain soundtracks that I've seen females put up, it's usually the likes of like Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, and stuff like that. And if you listen, if you have heard any of their lyrics, they talk very aggressive. They talk like they have things between their legs, like what I got. And when I hear that, I'm like, it boggles my mind because I'm like, surely you can't believe this. Like I've heard and seen women say, nigga, I'll knock you out. And I'm thinking in my mind, you know, what work? Like, do you have training? Now, if you got training or something like that, then okay. But I'm talking about like no even degree of training or even understand. I'm like, how do you feel the need to, how do you see that working out for you? Because if that man swole up with his anger, that's why brothers leave.
Mm-hmm.
Because if he swole up in his anger, it says, do not strike the weaker vessel, for that's what the woman is. But if we are pushed to that degree, we've had instances of domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying all to say, I want you to see what I see. I'm trying to display it and talk about it as I've seen it. And what I see is men shrinking away from positions of leadership, especially when it comes to the word, and especially when it comes to the family, institutions that the Most High set in place. And they don't have the responsibility or the accountability to lead because they've sacrificed it, or they've sloughed it off and they've given way for the female to do that. And that ain't right. Am I the only one seeing this type of thing? I want to hear from some of you. What ways have you seen this type of spirit working both male and female? Anybody?
Well, while you were talking, I just saw my upbringing. For a little bit of background, because I know this is like only my second time up here. But my family on my mom's side, it's mostly women, unmarried women.
Mm-hmm.
Or, and this is growing up like great grandmother, because my great grandmother did not die until I was about 16. So my great grandmother, mother. So I was born out of wedlock. All my uncles, by the time I was 10, all of my uncles were gone, dead, killed in the street. My parents didn't marry until I was 10. And that was dysfunctional. So I was the sensitive one in the family of all of these strong women who had to be strong because there was no male figure. And as I got serious in my walk with Abba, as I got serious with, with my yielding to him, he began to show me how I had kind of like sacrificed tenderness because of pain.
Mm-hmm.
And how I had internalized this belief that sensitivity meant weak. So because I was very empathetic, and at this point understanding like prophetic, feeling people, sympathizing with their pain and wanting to console them, but this is who I've had to relearn to be again, because I had let that part of me die, right? And so there's been a resurrection of that space and finding power in being tender, finding an honor in the Lord, knowing that this is how he created me to be, because I'm not supposed to fight the same battles that y'all are supposed to fight. Because when y'all are not in position, the woman ends up taking on wars and battles that we were never designed to fight, and it morphs us. It morphs us. And so coming into the place now, understanding what Yah has said, I am in his image, and being unapologetic to just be a woman, right? And I don't say it like a diminishment, but I don't have to scream and yell to get my point across. You know, I don't have to do all these things to get to be heard or to yield. Like there's even a strength in yielding. When you submit, like you're giving up power. You are yielding your power in choosing to trust your covering, you know? And so that isn't a weak thing. It's an incredibly powerful thing.
Yeah.
In beginning to understand where the mutation came in at and the perversion came in at and coming back to what he said in the beginning, you know? So that's, yeah. So I see it.
You see it.
I see it because I lived it. I was it, and I'm still working my way out of it, you know? So
Thanks for being real with your family situation. I know a lot of people in that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Hayes, you got anything?
I think,
Go ahead.
okay. So, for me, I had two different lenses. I was heavy, you know, in the church. And our church was very different for that time. It was always said that our bishop was a man before his time. He had a lot of revelation about things that a lot of people didn't know at that time or didn't preach. So it was good, but the space that women lived in was very different. It was the word that you would say or you would use is subservient, right?
Mhm.
And so we couldn't wear earrings. There was a lot of traditions that women couldn't do when we really didn't have a voice. We were not taught to have a voice at that time. And then on the other side of things, I had a home where the only voice was a woman because my father was not present in our home. And so trying to understand how to learn from a woman who shouldn't have a voice and still be a woman, be led by a woman, was very difficult. And so the same thing with Jen, the women on my mother's side, there are a few who have always been married, like they've been married for as long as I can remember, but for the most part, the immediate family, the women did not have men ever, outside of when my mom got remarried. But most of them spent most of their life in being unmarried. There are a lot of children, most of them born out of wedlock. That was something I was very adamant not to do because I did not see myself raising a child without a man. And so it was like this wisdom that he gave me early on to find the middle ground or seek the middle ground. You know how you always say you had questions.
Mhm.
And I'm like, this don't look right and that don't look right.
Right.
So where is the answer?
Mhm.
You know, what is your nature? What is your design for this position? And so what I learned is that in tradition, there was so much misunderstanding of what the word really was that it kind of shut the woman's voice completely. But when you don't have what you're supposed to have, you have to step up. Like she said, you have to fill in the void. We were made that. And so as I got older, I started understanding what was happening, how we got there, you know, learning our history, seeing that stuff. And I think that in today's society, it is a situation where they're trying to literally wipe out. And this is so serious that I've literally had major dreams about this. They're literally trying to wipe out the presence of a man.
Yeah.
And so this is strategic in warfare, the enemy's role, not to just emasculate, but to eliminate the man in general. And so we see that in society, we see that on social media, we see that in this feminist movement. And I get it, because again, the women's voice was completely eradicated to a degree, but subservient is not a bad word. It's not, because at the end of the day, if you are being led by an integral man, you should be able to lead him without question. I mean, let him lead you without question. And so that's what the word means, but we've put on a new understanding of it because because of the controlling systems that were built through religion
Yeah.
and through relationship with that tradition. as opposed to getting back to the true nature and the true intention of what Abba intended when he created man and woman.
Yeah.
Because that's what we need to get back to. But because of tradition, that started it. And now we're in the space where the women are fighting back to get a voice that they feel was taken.
Mhm.
But the enemy is really twisting that to eliminate the man.
And we can't get back to Adam and Eve status till we get back to the one that made Adam and Eve. So I'm listening to everything y'all saying, right?
Mhm.
Now, several things. It's funny, you mentioned Adam and Eve, but you also talked about now. A lot of times it's took place between then and now. And to my knowledge, I don't know that there's such thing as a female demon, but I know that demons had male parts because they made it with the women.
Mhm.
So if Cardi B or any of them other bras is talking reckless like that, I mean, the spirit that's controlling them, it's of a
Masculine.
man. Yeah, masculine. I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
male because they're not men.
Right.
Masculine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And because of how raw industry is, just to touch on that for a second, in all music, you know what I'm saying, that's not of Yah, it's reckless.
Mhm.
And if you listen to it, you will be reckless.
Mhm.
That's why I had to stop listening to certain. I didn't realize how much music controlled me. Didn't make me do nothing, but it put a lot of stuff in my head that after thinking about it, I could have preferred to not be there.
Mhm.
I would have preferred to not be there.
Right.
But that's what we was doing at the time, you know what I'm saying? But the effect this had. See, I'm looking at the role of the woman all the way across the board and the role of the man, because I don't think there's a man alive that doesn't want to be able to take care, especially if he has a family,
Mhm.
doesn't want to be able to take care of his family, doesn't want to be able to take care of himself. There's a lot working against us in this country, especially as men of color.
Mhm.
It's a blessing to be able to have a good job,
Mhm.
regardless of what's about to happen now.
Listen.
It's a blessing to know that you can put your card or go to ATM or, you know what I'm saying, and money is there. You know what I'm saying? That's it puts you in a state of peace that a lot of people don't understand. When you got to go try to find your next dollar,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, as opposed to knowing, because I'm not focusing on you, but everybody's basically working from computers now. All you got to do is log on.
Mhm.
2 o'clock, you making money. And it goes.
Mhm.
When they got to leave the house, I'm like, we ain't got no, we ain't got no bread. I don't want to ask her.
Mhm.
I got to do
Mhm.
next thing. That's how niggas get robbed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how jokers get,
Exactly.
Come on.
hit the streets.
Mhm.
That's like the only option we can give. It's seemingly the only option.
Yeah.
But we're coming from underneath something.
Mhm.
See, we're coming from underneath something. But the bottom, I believe the most high, like, yeah, hey, do what you gotta do, I'm with you.
Mhm.
That's my mentality. Do what you gotta do as a man. I'm with you. I've been with you all this time. You know what I'm saying? And when it's time for us to elevate, we don't need these things, he's gonna take care of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
The state that we're in right now, right? And I thank the most high for the woman I got in my life. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, she's a hell of a woman, a real woman. You know what I'm saying? And she showed me a lot about what a man, because she had a real man for a father. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So when you want to pay attention, when you want to learn, the information is all there.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
But when you're making excuses, which I try not to do,
Mhm.
I look at it like this. The Most High knew what men were going to be able to do what men weren't going to be able to do what. Look at how they treated us when we got over here.
Mhm.
It was all about tearing us down. We were nothing.
Yeah.
Buck break.
You know what I'm saying? Tying niggas to horses and splitting them.
Mhm.
All in front of women.
All in front of the
Absolutely.
family.
All in front of the
Entire
family.
family.
Entire family. So
Absolutely.
from our women have been made to look at us like we're less than from the very beginning.
Yeah.
And as that was cultivated by society and
Mhm.
beast power at work against us, we some bought into that.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
It became a mentality.
It definitely became a mindset, a mentality. It's like Joe, but I mean, if she can do it, why not let her do it?
Yes.
They're not letting me do it. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I can't. We can't climb the corporate ladder as fast as a woman can. Some women do it the right way, some women do it the wrong way. But they've been using that box against men for a long time.
Mhm.
It's a weapon. You understand what I'm saying? It's a
Yeah,
powerful
that's
weapon
facts.
when used. We're gonna go back to the beginning,
Yeah, that's where we
Mhm.
go.
Take
I
us to
will
the
go.
beginning,
Yeah,
right?
we take it to
So-
the beginning.
and I'm gonna read. I know where you're going,
Right.
but most I told me find it in here.
Let's get
That's
into
an
every.
interesting story.
Yeah.
Yes,
an
yes.
interesting
I tried to
story.
pull it up
Yeah.
too.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's go from every possible direction.
I just grew that spirit, the difference, right? I think it's all demonic.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't separate.
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
LGBTQ, all that mess, all
When
these
you're,
genders.
when you're a
Yeah.
female, right? And I'm gonna be 100. Right? I'm gonna keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? I have to. I don't know that there's a man alive that hasn't looked at another man and admired something about him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
If it's there, you know what I'm saying? You see a nigga walking with his shirt off, he ripped up. You know what I'm saying? Good skin color, white or black. Man, hey, man, what you looking at? You gay? Huh? Would you like his chest? You want to touch him? Like, I seen something that looks, man, I wouldn't mind if I look like that. You know what I'm saying? You admire, but and just like with women, y'all always run around each other half dressed. You know what I'm saying? But we may not be thinking about touching her, but we put ourselves in little boxes. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying homosexual tendencies. You're born. I don't believe you're born with them. But the thoughts that pop into your head, you can't control.
Yeah.
And if you haven't been taught to monitor your thoughts, and that little boy is looking at the other little boy, and like the enemy said to the serpent to say to Eve, we're gonna get to that. Like, man, you know what I'm saying? I think I like that. That's what the devil gonna say.
Perversion of the thought.
I think I like that. What, do I like that? You don't know. Now all of a sudden, it's the direction you're moving in.
Yeah.
But you're not equipped. Men aren't equipped to be women. Women aren't equipped to be men. That's why there's so many issues. Now, if you're lying to yourself, the enemy got control.
Yeah.
Of course, they don't look peaceful. You see these old homosexual and old lesbian couples, just they look alike. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I mean, and I'm not trying to be funny. I'm like, Joe, the Most High's not there.
Right.
You know, he loves the sin, not the sin. He hates the sin, not the sin. He said homosexuality is an abomination. That's in what, Romans?
Not only that,
Yes.
it's
And
in
the issue is going to be that the men are going to burn with lust for each other. That's a problem. He said that's going to be a problem in the last days. And now it's a movement. It's a way of life. So,
you can't speak against it.
man, F all that. Yeah, I speaks against it.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. But you know what I'm talking about.
It's
You
not
know,
popular to speak.
Look, man, I want somebody to tell me that I can't
We
do
know.
something. Yeah.
But it's like you said, it's the thought. The original thought is, hey, I admire what this person has on. I admire what this man or this woman has. I think her dress is beautiful. I think his or her physique is something that I would like to have. It's inspiring me. But the inspiration is now shifted to a place of perversion
And coveting.
and coveting. Yes.
Everything's geared towards that.
Mhm.
Everything you see on TV, everything you listen to, everything that moves, it's
Exactly.
subliminal. But it's subliminal.
Subliminal.
It's
It's not
subliminal.
even subliminal anymore.
That's true.
Not
That's why
It
you're
used
feeling
to
it.
That's
be
true.
subliminal,
they'll
but
force
what
it down
it
your
is,
throat now.
Yeah.
right, now we're
Because
in
the
the
movement
boiling
is strong.
water at this point,
The
right?
movement has gotten stronger. They know it's got traction. It's not
Because
popular,
no
as
one
you said, to
spoke
speak
up
against.
before.
So now we're gonna put it all out there. And if you
Mhm.
speak against it, you're a pariah.
Yes.
Publicly.
Yes.
You know what?
A pariah, meaning you're like the
Outcast.
outcast. There you go.
Mhm.
Perfect word.
Can I say something to that?
Go ahead.
What is coming up for me right now is that, you know, when it comes to what was not being spoken against, or the condemnation that was there a few generations ago, the condemnation, or not the condemnation, but the chastisement that was there in regards to, you know, the LGBTQ and the, you know, alternative lifestyles and all that stuff, it was being done by people who were leading those lifestyles in secret.
Mhm.
And the word says, you know, that whatever's done in secret
We'll come to
is going to come to light.
Mhm.
And so we're literally looking at what was a secret lifestyle being the praised lifestyle. You know, it's in the interesting, the thing that y'all showed me about this whole thing is that it's not as prevalent as the media wants us to believe, but because it's so prevalent in the media, it's now being made to seem like
It's everywhere.
it's everywhere and this
It's
is
the norm.
everyone.
Mhm.
It's not the norm. They want it to be the norm, so they're manipulating media. The prince of the power of the air is taking the agenda of this and making it the prevalent thing so that we can buy into it. And in the video that you shared, the crushing of the serpent's head is no longer an issue.
Yeah,
We're not going after that anymore.
Mhm.
That's what I want to bring up. I heard and when I was studying up for this, is that we can agree that Hashatan hates everything about Yah.
Mhm.
We can agree with that,
Mhm.
including the fact that he made a man in his own image. So what would be his chief goal is to pervert that image and make it like the woman.
Yes,
Because
yes, that's what I say.
the enemy knows that Yah is masculine.
Mhm.
He is masculine. His spirit is feminine.
Mhm.
So, but since man was created in the image of Yah, what should I most want to do is make him into what he is not.
Mhm.
Because if I make him into woman, that's not what Yah is. And I'm disrespecting Yah by changing his whole image.
Yes.
So I want the gender reversal. I want what came from man to be dominant, even though it came from man, it's not supposed to be. And I want what man was dominant, I want him to be feminine, I want him to be submissive, because that means Yah is now under my power. His
Yes.
image is under my control, which is the reason why we have LGBTQ and all that mess.
Mhm.
If they, the devil, he has a grenade with fragments in it. You know what I'm saying? Shrapnel.
Trap.
He
Yes.
he ain't gonna shoot you with just one bullet. He gonna throw a bomb. He say, I'm gonna have all these little tricks and just so.
Yes.
If you ain't hit by this spike, you gonna get hit by that one.
Yes.
I got my prongs and my tentacles and everything, because somehow all y'all gonna collapse.
Yeah.
And I don't care, because I hate all y'all, because y'all all look like the image, especially the head with mayonnaise.
Yeah.
So when I was thinking about that, let's jump back to Genesis 3. Let's jump to Genesis 3 from the beginning. Let's walk through this joint. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got the revelation. Speak up. I'm gonna give it to you just like I got it when I was reading it. Genesis chapter 3, and I'm reading out the Sefer. We have several versions up here, but it says in the Sefer, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which Yahuwah Elohim made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, has Elohim said, Ye shall not eat of every tree in the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, We may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Elohim has said, Ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die.
Mm.
And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die. First famous lie.
Mm.
For Elohim knows that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be as Elohim, knowing good and evil. I want to pause right there and make this point that I heard that I didn't even consider. At this point, the only two beings that we're speaking of are the serpent and Eve right now. Adam is nowhere in the picture. Adam does not have a desire to be like Elohim, because he's already made in the image of him. So his curiosity is not towards the tree and what it can offer to make him like Elohim.
Mhm.
When Eve wasn't even here, he was walking and talking to Elohim, he was getting his dominance and authority from Elohim.
Yes.
And he was in his image. So Adam had eyes like I have eyes. I can look at myself and be like, hey, and there's water. So, get reflection in the water, see how I look. Now I'm looking at Elohim. Hey, me and you. So there's no question in my mind who I'm from, who I'm of, and what I'm about. Eve is the one who is looking at the tree, marveling at it. And then he says, Ye shall be as Elohim, meaning you will be like God. We get all this talk with goddess and the queen of heaven. You look back at pagan religions, you have Isis, you have Ashtoreth, you have Semiramis. These goddesses that are being worshipped. Oh, there ain't no male figure that's at the top. It's a female figure that's being worshipped, giving witness to the perversion of these false religions that the devil himself has set up to not have the man on top, but to have the woman there,
Yeah.
because he wants to pervert everything of Yah. Let's continue reading. Verse 6. And when the woman saw, when she saw that the tree was good for food and it was pleasant to the eyes. Now, ladies, y'all know things that are pleasant to the eyes. The shopping, marketing. Everybody knows if you put out all this stuff and show how pretty things are, it's going to draw the attention of women. Actually, men don't shop, we buy. So we get
That's
women
good.
shop. And a tree to be desired to make one wise. All these three things she craved and desired. It looked good to the touch. It looks good for food. So I'm going to eat something. It's going to taste good. And it's going to make me wise. She took the fruit thereof, did eat, and gave also unto her man with her, and he did eat. Now, in that very small sentence, there's so much happened.
So
Because the
much.
question we have in our minds, and I'm sure O can ask him too if he's reading from another version, it's like, yeah, Adam is like, yeah, okay, you just bring me the food, I'm going to just eat it. He made the decision to disobey. Eve was deceived. Adam was like, man. So I've heard plenty of talk of why Adam possibly could have made the decision. Now, they don't say it in here. Maybe he didn't want to lose Eve. Maybe he thought that God would do away with her. He couldn't do it again. This is the first time he's seeing something like her. And she was the first. She was the mother of all women. So she had to be something phenomenal. So I'm like, if he had that mindset to just go ahead and disobey, you know what I'm saying? Where was the discernment? Where was the chastisement? Where was the leadership parole? He failed then in taking leadership.
Yep.
He should have been representative of the image he's been acquainted with this entire time. Like, where were you? What were you? He should have been coming to her like y'all came at him when he was walking in the cool to eat. But he didn't do that.
So the man's inability to lead
Started with that decision to eat that fruit that his wife brought him and gave him. No, it didn't even say he gave a rebuttal. It said she brought, he ate.
And
Baby.
there was also so much space. Like, where were you for this much conversation to be had with a stranger? Where were you?
Oh, I know. He gonna get it. I was gonna answer that. I know.
Yeah.
Let's continue.
I'm gonna let you read this. I'm gonna read the
Let's
whole
continue
thing.
on. Yeah. Where we at? 7. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And when they heard the voice of Yahuwah Elohim walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and the man and his woman hid themselves from the presence of Yahuwah Elohim amongst the trees of the garden. And Yahuwah Elohim called unto Adam and said unto him, where are you? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid. This was the first time he admitted being fearful, because I was naked and I hid myself. And he said, who told you you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree whereof I commanded you that you should not eat? And the man said, second huge act of no leadership, no taking control, no dominance that you've had has been crowned upon you. The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree and I did eat. So it's your fault, y'all. It's your fault. Because you gave me something so ridiculously beautiful that I ain't had no choice but to obey her. Even though all I've known is you, all I've done was learn your precepts, your ways. You've given me dominance and authority to name everything. You've shown me your wondrous creation, and everything is perfect. I ain't never seen no death. Everything is perfectly fine. But now I'm afraid, and you gave me something that made me afraid because I obeyed it rather than you. Verse 13, and Yahuwah Elohim said unto the woman, what is this that you have done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. Beguiled me with deceit. And Yahuwah Elohim said unto the serpent, because you have done this, you are cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon your belly shall you go, and dust shall you eat all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. Y'all ever seen the pictures of women with pythons around themselves? That's a direct slap in the face of y'all. He told me that first time I saw it. He said, I put enmity between the woman, any woman on the planet, and snakes, serpents. So for them to be parading around, that's a slap in his face. And you know the enemy know that, but let's continue. Curse about and her seed, and it shall bruise your head. No, I'm saying it shall bruise, between your seed and her seed, it shall bruise your head. It shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In sorrow shall bring forth children, and your desire shall be to your man. That's important. Your desire shall be to your man, and he shall rule over you. This is a command in which the Most High commanded that the woman be under the man. So I want everybody else out there to hear this. You think you got a mindset, or you've been gravitating towards the popular thought of the day. I don't need no man. I'm saying this for a reason. I ain't say it. Yah said it because of our first mother who messed up. He said he will rule over you. You're going to have a desire for it. That's why I said it's like late in the years when nothing is happening. You don't have no kids. You by yourself. You're bitter. Because you desired the marriage. You desired the children, the family. But the mindset of I got a masculine and all this, it pushed that away. And you don't realize it till you're on the back end. You had case in point of the testimony up here said there were a lot of women in their family who were unmarried and they stayed that way. They didn't have to stay that way, but they stayed that way. Let's continue. Unto the woman he said, I will go. Okay. And unto Adam, he said, because you have hearkened unto the voice of your woman and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake. In sorrow shall you eat of it all the days of your life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to you, and you shall eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of your face shall you eat bread, till you return unto the ground. For out of it were you taken, and for dust you are, and unto dust you shall return. Adam called his woman's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Unto Adam also, to his woman, did Yahuwah Elohim make coats of skin and clothing. So we see everything that took place. Any revelations right now on this passage before opening to this question?
The thing I heard while you were reading verse, you said, the woman you gave to me,
Mhm.
gave to be with me. This is what my version says.
Okay.
This is the Revised New Jerusalem Bible. It says, the woman you gave to be with me, she gave me fruit from the tree and I ate it. And I heard perversion of purpose.
Perversion of purpose.
Perversion of purpose. So the purpose of the woman was to help me,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Adam was alone. The word says it's not good for man to be alone. So that's why Abba made Eve to be a helpmeet and companion for Adam.
Can I put a pin in there real quick?
Mhm.
To be specific here, it's not good for this man.
This man.
The reason why that's significant is because Adam had his purpose, he had a relationship with the Most High, and he had what he was supposed to do. When you have those two things, then it's not good for you to be alone. Prior to that, you should be alone. Because Adam was alone until
Yes,
he got that.
that's
And
right.
then Eve was brought. That's
Yes.
significant. We got to understand
That's
it.
good.
Keep going.
That's very good. And so her purpose was to meet the dominion of Adam. The purpose was for her to meet the needs and the dominion of Adam. So when he saw her, she was his desire,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so because she was made to meet the need was being met from a perverse place.
Mm.
Because she was not supposed to give him something that he didn't need
Mm.
or didn't, and he already had everything he needed.
That's right.
But she took from a place that he didn't need and gave him from the tree.
Good.
She wanted wisdom,
She wanted it.
but he already had everything
He knew who he
needed
was.
Oh, my goodness.
because he knew exactly who he was.
Who he
She
was.
did not know who she was.
Sure.
She wasn't clear on her purpose because the
Oh,
enemy
yeah.
had just told her a lie.
It's getting good.
He had
Getting
just told
good.
her a lie. The lie created a perversion of purpose. So she wasn't just curious because it was pretty, but she's like, okay, well, if that's the case, what are we here for?
You said she wanted wisdom.
She wanted
What
wisdom.
she did.
That's what it said.
She wanted to be like God.
She wanted the wisdom. This one said the
So she
woman
wasn't
saw.
content in her position.
Yes,
She
it
wasn't
was.
content helping her man. She wanted to be like the Most High herself.
Yes, verse 6 here, it
Precisely.
says, the woman saw that the tree was good to eat and pleasing to the eye, and that it was desirable for the wisdom that it would give.
I
It
want,
could give.
I want to testify to what he just said.
Mhm.
When
That's crazy.
we talking real talk, y'all. So if this goes against the grain, consider it before the words, consider it before Elohim. When you consider, I'm speaking as a man versus what I see as a woman. When you consider the events in a man and a woman's life, or the celebrations and things, even, and I'm going based on what I see on social media, I always see tons of pictures and selfies of celebrations of what the woman's doing. The man ain't nowhere in the picture.
That's facts.
Even when I was in a relationship, the girl I was with, she used to post. She asked me, "Why don't you post more?" I'm like, "I ain't really me. I don't feel good putting the camera all up on my face like that. That's not in my nature to be there. But plus, I'm from a different era. It's like you know, we ain't doing. Let y'all be pretty. It ain't us supposed to be pretty. It's like I heard Mob Deep Havoc said he said let the girls wear all that stuff, man, and be pretty. Don't be doing that as a dude. And I was like, man, that's exactly right. But when you see that, it's like, what does that garner? It garners attention. It garners life. It garners worship and praise. Look at me. Who desires and supposed to get all the worship and the praise and the attention? The Most High.
Yep.
So the pursuit to be like Elohim is something that is desired in the woman. It's funny that it worked out that way. Knowledge, wisdom, understanding, she craves it so that she could be worthy. And then now we see, like you said, the upward mobility of women in any workforce area now. They achievement. They got this degree, that degree, that. That to them is more important now than a relationship with any man.
Then reproduction, which
Accomplishment.
is the purpose.
Right.
Reproduction is the purpose.
Now you can go to the store and get the baby.
Yeah, now you
You
can.
can go online and get your baby.
And without a man.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You look, you order a car online, you get your baby online.
Or you get a
go to
dog.
clinic.
Now, we ain't gonna get on that.
They're gonna treat the dog better than
Man, listen, they go to dogs because they're easier than babies. And that I know women now that consider their dog their child. They say, that's
Yes.
my child. I'm
Yes.
like, hold up, you see, so if I called you I'd be saying the truth. You said that dog is your child, then I call
Right.
you.
You
female
produce
dog.
I ain't gonna go there. Jen, you gonna say something?
No, while Angie was speaking, what I was hearing is when Adam ate
Uh-huh.
of something he did not need, he lowered his station.
Oh,
Yeah.
So he already had a station. He was already in a place of dominion. And he ate and lowered the station. And then took the power of Yah's voice out of its rightful place and put the woman's voice in that place.
Mm.
And so it wasn't just a perversion, it was an inversion. It was an inverted space. And what is one of the main things that that Satan does, right? He inverts to pervert.
yes.
So what's the whole thing? As above, so below.
As above,
You know,
above, so let it be.
Yeah. And so in Yah's economy, right, in his kingdom, the man, it's him and then the man.
Mhm.
But in Satan's, it's him and the woman.
Mm.
And you get what I'm saying? And so it's a complete inversion. And so I just saw him relinquish the power, relinquish the role, relinquish the purpose.
It was brought out, I'm studying also to go along with that, the fact that Satan was only then able to identify Adam's weakness when Eve came. Because prior to that, what was he doing? He's
Yeah.
constantly walking and talking with the maker. So there's no avenue, there's no end for Satan to get in. He's just sitting back, watching, disgraced, wondering why he ain't being worshipped since he was the first angel created. He's wondering why the Most High is making a whole image of him and worshiping it and spending so much time. He's like, how can I get at this fool and get him out of there? Because I should be there. Here comes Eve. Oh, let me talk to her because I see the weakness now. And I heard this pastor say, he's like, man, Adam saw what happened to Satan saw what happened to Adam when he saw Eve, insinuating that, Adam was a man when he saw his woman, which is natural because Yah made it to be that way. He was like, well, this is his weakness. And then by him being able to identify Eve's weakness, he plays on both of them.
Yes. Yes.
So I can only take you down through her.
His
It-
desire for her,
His
and her desire for more.
I'm telling you. It's just I'm always reminded of Balaam. He's like, hey man, I can't curse them jokers. That's what the Most High blessed. But let me tell you how to get it. How the women and Mother Nature's intermingle and slowly but surely bring it back.
Yes. And can I read this just to put word to what she just said?
Okay.
So the verse 17, it says, because you listened to the voice of your wife and ate from the tree, which I had forbidden you to eat. Cursed be the soil because of you. In pain you shall get your food from it all the days of your life. Because before there was dominion over everything, right? So now he has to toil to get what he had dominion over.
Then he only had to speak.
That he only had to
Oh,
speak to,
man.
that he only had to tell what to do. Now he has to toil to get it. Now in pain, he has to reap from the place that he had dominion over.
He used to be like, hey, give me a mango.
Yes.
The tree was just like, a
Right.
perfect mango with that. I'm
Listen.
silly, so that's what I'm thinking about.
That's true. That's fine.
That's really, that's really what it is.
On you,
All right.
bro. Yeah.
So if y'all haven't read this account, if you haven't, it's
Yeah, I pulled it up.
it's called the Apocalypse of Moses, right? Where I'm about to read from. But I'm gonna just read it. If you want to stop me, stop. If he fell, I then said Eve to them, hear all my children and children's children, and I will relate to you how the enemy deceives. He said, if he fell, that we were guarding paradise, each of us, the portion allotted to us from Elohim. Now I guarded in my lot the west and the south, but the devil went to Adam's lot, where the male creatures were. Elohim divided the creatures, all the males he gave to your father, and all the females he gave to me. So Adam couldn't see her. They weren't in the same vicinity. Where the thought would be, why was she not with her husband? She was doing what the Most High had her do.
Gotta search these words, man. These are the books that they took away from us.
That's why she wasn't underneath her man, like most niggas want their women right here. Or some females want their dude all up underneath.
Right.
I don't really understand that myself personally, but you know, this is.
We need our space.
Absolutely.
Everybody needs their space, man.
Absolutely.
But you see that just that tidbit of information that answers a vast amount of questions. Where was Adam? I heard that in the church so many times.
That was my look. She wrong. She should have been with her husband.
Right.
That's what I said.
Right.
That's what I'm telling you. I'm like, man, why was she not with her husband? If he pruning a tree, she should be picking up the clippings. You know what I'm saying? And put them in the bag. Follow him right there with him. What else you need to do, baby? You're supposed to be helping.
Right.
Exactly. You know, but I mean,
Man, we got the right mix of
we
people
are.
up to the show.
Right, we was supposed to
Right.
be.
That's what I said. She's supposed to be helping.
Right, we was
So
supposed to
the
be.
enemy exploited where he was supposed to, like he exploited his obedience
And hers.
and hers.
But you peep the move. The enemy went to where he was at,
Mm.
trying to make sure he was there before he went to try to shoot. So
Yeah,
she
keep,
just shot his woman.
keep reading.
That's why I think. I mean, look, real quick. I've asked some females the other night. I said, "You go into a bar, right? Or you somewhere and this, this fine dude, Billy Wood used to be the man. You dressed nice hair, dress, man. Come you married, but you had a bad argument with your man. They come ask you to buy you a drink. Females say they will never do this, that, or the other thing. You don't know what
Listen,
you would do. You know what I'm saying? That right
that
dude
is
come.
facts.
I've played the role. With that right, say the right word, got the right amount of money, and in that one moment of weakness, got you.
Mhm.
And you hook, line, and sinker, gone. He plotted this out perfectly. I didn't give the enemy no credit, but he ain't no dummy.
Nope.
You know, so I gotta make sure her dude is doing what he's supposed to be doing, what he's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And let me go check on him. We go see what she's talking about. Since these are two people that got me kicked out of that. Because he gave him the beef. And I'm gonna read that too. He said, for Yah, the Elohim divided the creatures, okay. And the devil spake, check this out. The devil spake to the serpent, saying, this was actually the first lie.
Mhm.
Rise up, come to me, and I will tell thee a word whereby thou mayest have profit. What happened to the serpent on the back? He got his wings clipped.
Mhm.
He was cursed to him. He said, man, you look, holler at him, I got something for you. It's gonna look good on the back end.
Mhm.
And he arose and came to him. And the devil said to him, I'm gonna keep reading this one, y'all stop. I ain't gonna stop.
No, keep going.
I hear that thou art wiser than all the beasts, and I have come to counsel thee. Why dost thou eat of Adam's tares and not of paradise? Rise up, and we will cause him to be cast out of paradise, even as we were cast out through him. The serpent said to him, I fear lest Yahweh be wroth with you. The serpent said, I fear lest Yahweh be wroth with you. The devil said to him, fear not, only be my vessel, and I will speak through thy mouth words to deceive him.
Look at that.
See?
Even the serpent knew who authority belonged to. He said,
Yes.
you messing with Yahweh. What's wrong with you?
Instantly, he hung himself from the wall of paradise. When the angels ascended to worship Elohim, then Satan appeared in the form of an angel and sang hymns like the angels.
Mm.
And I bent over the wall and saw him like an angel. But he said to me, art thou Eve? And I said to him, I am. What art thou doing in paradise? And I said to him, Elohim set us to guard and to eat it. The devil answered through the mouth of the serpent, ye do well, but ye do not eat of every plant. And I said, yea, we eat of all, save one only, which is in the midst of paradise, concerning which Elohim charged us not to eat of it. For he said to us, on the day on which ye eat of it, ye shall die the death. Then the serpent said to me, may God live, but I am grieved on your account. For I would not have you ignorant, but arise, come hither, hearken to me, and eat, and mind the value of the tree. But I said to him, I feared lest Elohim be wroth with me, as he told us. And he said to me, fear not, for as soon as thou eatest of it, ye too shall be as Elohim, and that ye shall know good and evil. But Elohim perceived this, that ye would be like him. So he envied you and said, Ye shall not eat of it.
Mm.
Nay, do thou give heed to the plant? Nay, do thou give heed to the plant, and thou wilt see it great glory? Nay, do thou give heed to the plant, and thou wilt see its great glory? Yet I feared to take of the fruit. And he said to me, Come hither, and I will give it thee. Follow me. And I opened to him, and he walked a little way, then turned and said to me, I've changed my mind, and I will not give thee to eat until thou swear to me to give also to thy husband. And I said, What sort of oath shall I swear to thee? Yet what I know I say to thee by the throne. What sort of oath shall I swear to thee? Yet what I know I say to thee by the throne of the Master, and by the cherubim and the tree of life, I will give also to my. She said that. He
Yeah.
didn't even tell her to say that.
Because first she's like, what type of oath am I gonna do? Then she just starts thinking of the things that she knows. I swear by the throne, by the cherubim, because I've
That's all
seen
she
it.
knew.
So I swear by everything that I've seen,
Mhm.
then I'm gonna give some of this to my husband.
I swear by the throne of the Master, and by the cherubim and the tree of life,
Who else she talking about?
Mhm.
Yep.
I will give also to my husband to eat. And when he had received the oath from me, he went and poured upon the fruit the poison of his wickedness, which is lust, the root and beginning of every sin. And he bent the branch on the earth, and I took of the fruit and I ate. And in that very hour, my eyes were opened. And forthwith I knew that I was bare of the righteousness with which I had been clothed. And I wept and said to him, Why hast thou done this to me? And that thou hast deprived me of the glory with which I was clothed. But I wept also about the oath which I had sworn. But he descended from the tree and vanished, tripped her up, and rolled
Like
out.
he do.
And rolled out. Left her naked
Mm.
and rolled out.
Naked and void of purpose.
Man, let me tell y'all, the enemy will have you thinking that a certain type of thought or theory or way of lifestyle is popular and it's going to benefit you because it feels good now. But when you see the longevity of the decision that you have made and how horrible it was, he's going to do just like that. He's going to slither away. He ain't going to say nothing. He might giggle as he leaves.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it.
That's
Because
good.
he does not care.
He descended from the tree and vanished.
Got it.
After making her oath, after making her swear an oath. No type of respect, no type of nothing. It's just not, I mean, no honor, no nothing. Just like, I got yours.
Got it.
Bye.
This also gives a completely different understanding to where Eve really was.
Mhm.
You know, because the Genesis account makes it seem like there's no emotion here. There's no
Right.
Yeah.
There's there's pain.
Yeah,
There's,
that's
Extra books.
She he got started.
Yeah, he's not lying.
Look, the next verse, and I began to seek in my naked. This is her talking. This is her addressing her children. You know what I'm saying? Adam's about to die. If I'd have started from the beginning, Adam is at the point of death.
He's at the point of death.
And he's breaking down, and she was like, "Look, let me tell y'all what happened." You know, so basically, y'all know. Yeah, they saw it, man, for like what, 600-700 years. They saw the Garden of Eden, I think, and then the Most High took it up to heaven. You know, they saw the angels guarding the joint earth.
Mhm.
They seen it. You know what I'm saying? So generation of this story, somebody came from Egypt and all this stuff. Anyway, who is that? Verse 4. And I began to seek in my nakedness, in my part for leaves to hide my shame, but I found it. So where she was at in the garden, there weren't no leaves that could cover her shame. And her part, she said, I began to seek in my nakedness, in my part for the leaves to hide my shame, but I found none. For as soon as I had eaten, the leaves showered down from all the trees in my part, except the fig tree only. But I took leaves from it up to his
Listen.
as soon, wait a second, but I found for as soon as I had eaten, the leaves showered down from the tree, from all the trees.
Oh my
Except the
goodness.
fig tree only.
Hold up, pause. Just imagine that. You pick it's fall. We know that leaves fall off trees because of wind. Them joints are just dropping their leaves off, and nobody's ever seen nothing like that.
But hold up, the Most High used fig leaves, right? Was it ever wondered why he used fig leaves? Because there were no other leaves. The only tree that had leaves left was the fig tree.
But no, you said, and I wrote this down, give heed to the plant. So she gave heed. That's why there weren't
Oh.
anymore.
Oh yeah, man.
Because she gave heed to the plan. She gave control, dominion, everything that she had the power beforehand. Remember, perversion of purpose. She gave all of that to the plant. So the way I just saw it was she wanted to be covered, but there was nothing left to cover her.
It kind of gets
Only
just
he
like
could
why the
do it.
ground was cursed. Think about that, because what comes from the ground? The trees and the plants.
Exactly.
So now,
Yes.
yo, hold up, y'all just unlocked something right there. That's connected.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
you think about the fact it was enough for me to know that Adam had dominance over the earth, that it would just produce for him because he had dominance. But now it's cursed and bringing forth thorns and thistles because of the enmity that she placed in it, that she gave, because she did not go under the ordinances that Adam had taught her by way of Yah.
Yes.
So since she relinquished that, now she's giving now the earth is at enmity with. It's like, oh no, yo, I ain't never thought about that.
You ever wonder what type of fruit she ate? We always talking apple, or you know that.
Something nonsense.
Yeah, some people believe it's fig. It was a fig.
What's that?
I said some people believe it was a fig.
According to this, it was, and I just
But it
saw.
makes sense as to why Joshua cursed the fig tree.
Come on, man.
We linking all. This what happens when you have real talk. When the spirit is among you, what did it say? Lead and guide into all truth.
Yes.
You can wrestle with it if you want.
What the fig tree?
And that's-
It ain't had no figs on it. It was a season. It was supposed to have some fruit. He was hungry, so he cursed him.
And because she gave that tree heed, that was the only thing that could cover her.
And look at what it said. I should have just kept reading. before I
Via
said
Yahweh.
that. But I took leave from it. Oh no. I began to seek in my nakedness, and my part for the leaves that hide my shame, but I found none. For as soon as I had eaten, the leaves showered down from all the trees in my part, except the fig tree. But I took leaves from it and made for myself a girdle, and it was from the very same plant of which I had eaten.
See,
So that means she ate a fig.
listen,
I mean, that's clear.
That means
That's
she ate a
very
fig.
clear.
That's what it was.
that's very clear.
Flipping fig. And I cried
That's
out.
why I'm eating.
I used to like fig news.
Yes.
I used to like fig news.
My grandmother had those for cookies. I was like, you got some cookies? I got fig noodles.
Yeah.
It's
A healthy snack.
Hey,
A healthy
the
cookie.
a healthy
cookie.
cookie, yeah.
That's what she ate.
I'm not gonna be reminded
I
of my
mean,
shame.
Shoot.
Look, she said, I cried out. I cried out in that very hour. Adam, where art thou? Rise up and come to me, and I will show thee a great secret. But when your father came, I spake to him words of transgression, which have brought us down from our great glory. But when he came, I opened my mouth, and the devil was speaking. And I began to exhort him and said, come hither, my Lord Adam, hearken to me and eat of the fruit of the tree of which Elohim told us not to eat of it, and thou shalt be as a God. And your father answered me and said, I fear lest Elohim be wroth. And I said to him, fear not, for as soon as thou hast eaten, thou shalt know good and evil. And speedily I persuaded him, whatever that means.
Oh,
Speedily.
we know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, listen. Instant fast persuasion is something only a female can do, bro.
We gotta do that.
Hey. Oh my
Man,
goodness,
Let me show you
man.
something. Let me show you something.
Oh
And
no.
it's been the weakest of a man.
And ever since, bro.
Hey,
Men are ready 24/7. So it's speedy. Yeah. Oh yeah. We know what happened.
That was it.
and speedily I persuaded him. And he ate, and straightway his eyes were open. Straightway his eyes were open.
Straightway.
And he too knew his nakedness. And to me he said, "Oh, wicked woman, what have I done to thee that thou hast deprived me of the glory of Elohim?
Come on.
Come on.
What have I done to
That's
you?
it right there.
I thought you were supposed to be helping me. Now you look all naked. He may not have been what."
Hold fast.
You done exposed me. You're supposed to be helping me.
we gotta
And
put
you
it
have
in.
exposed me. Come
Gotta put a
on.
pin in that. How many times have we heard that phrase uttered with other language amongst all y'all, sir? You think about what happened to Samson.
Mhm.
Sitting there telling the lie, multiple lies about the source of his strength, and finally telling the truth. And then he see the Philistines on him and say, "Oh man, what did I do to you to do this to me?
Mhm.
You serve me." We see it in religion. You know what I'm saying? I've seen pastors who have had an idea to do something, their wife has been against it, and that thing just blow up. In the church that we was in, who held the time clock to how the service should go? And you had to argue with her
Mm.
to add stuff to the service. And
Wow.
I used to be thinking, I was like, in my mind, I didn't say this, but it's the question.
Right.
Like, nigga, you the pastor. That's my question in my mind. We said,
Yeah.
"Look, you got to stick by the clock." I'm like, was she gonna shoot you after the service if you don't stick to the clock? What you scared of?
Yeah, she gonna shoot him already.
But it makes so much sense, and we spending time on this for a reason because everybody has to see what is happening here. This is the first instance. Through the weaknesses, the devil got in there. He knows man's weaknesses. A man's perpetual test is a woman,
Mm-hmm.
perpetually,
Mm-hmm.
and a woman's perpetual test is what is power,
Yeah. Control.
control, and power. That's what's going to be. And when the Most High said it, and that's why I heard that pastor. I said, he said the same. He said that's why marriage don't work, because marriage is only going to work one way.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's an institution of Yah. The man has to be at the head, and the woman has to be underneath him, playing her role. If it ain't like that, it ain't gonna work.
That's it.
And the devil loves messing that up.
Mm-hmm.
Loves messing it up. Let's jump to the next portion where we're gonna see another example of this. And this is exactly the track I was gonna go to. And then if we got enough time, we're gonna go into how Yah dealt with this. And we're going to 1 Kings chapter 21. 1 Kings chapter 21. We got a king named Ahab who's married to a woman named Jezebel. A little bit of history on them both. Ahab is king of Israel at the time. He is a weak man who went in the opposite way of how the Most High wanted him to. In the book of the Kings and the book of the Chronicles, you have several kings, most of which went the wrong way and led the nation into deeper and deeper iniquity, setting up idols inside the temple, setting up high places, pillars, places of worship to other deities. And by Ahab's union with Jezebel, that was the joining of the true kingdom of Yasharal to a foreign pagan nation, because Jezebel's father was a high priest in Baal's temple. Not a regular priest. He's a high priest, like he's pastor in Baal's church.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He's the bishop. And he had a daughter, and he married her off to the king of Yasharal. So now you got this union, you got the joining of these two nations. Jezebel comes in, of course she got to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, daughter of a high priest. She comes in, she starts executing the judgments that she has. She's taking out the prophets of the Most High, establishing prophets of Baal.
Right.
So she's setting up shops like a takeover.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm in, so let me go ahead and implant all of our soldiers everywhere which way in the world. That's why when Elijah came around, he killed about 400 of them dudes. I'm sitting there thinking, how did he get to 400? How did he shouldn't have got to 4.
No.
Knowing what y'all supposed to know,
Right.
following the y'all supposed to follow, it shouldn't even gotten to 4. But here you guys got 400. Let's go ahead and read this part. The other little one, I ain't gonna talk about that. Let's go to 21. And it said, and it came to pass after these things that Nabal, who was a Jezreelite, had a vineyard, which was in Jezreel, hard by the palace of Ahab, king of, my version got these words, Shamaron. And Ahab spoke unto Nabal, saying, give me your vineyard, that I may have it for a garden of herbs, because it is near unto my house, and I will give you for it a better vineyard than it. Or if it seem good to you, I will give you the worth of it in money. And Nabal said to Ahab, Yahuwah forbid me, that I should give the inheritance of my fathers unto you. The inheritance of my fathers. Think about that. No price, no better garden. This is the inheritance. This is something that Yah has given me to keep. It's priceless. And Ahab came into his house heavy and displeased because of the word which Naboth the Jezreelite had spoken to him. For he had said, I will not give you the inheritance of my fathers. And he laid him down on his bed and turned away his face and would eat no bread. This Bama went inside, had a temper tantrum, and pouted in his bed, turning his face away. That means his face is up against the wall or is in the covers and the pillows. He's just a mess. Emotional, no spine, no laugh. He's king.
Listen.
Of Yasharal. What in the world are you crying because you can't get a vineyard? So less people happens. We gotta, ooh. But then Jezebel, his woman, came to him and said unto him, why is your spirit so sad and you eat no bread? And he said unto her, because I spoke to Naboth the Jezreelite, he said unto him, give me your vineyard for money, or else, if it please you, I will give you another vineyard for it. And he said, I will not give it to you, my vineyard. And Jezebel, his woman, said unto him, do you now govern the kingdom of Yasharal? She checked him. You king or not? Arise, get your butt up, eat bread, and let your heart be happy. I will give you the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite. Let me tell you something. The ability to strategize and put together a plan the way a woman can is unmatched.
I was about to say, she understood.
Because she did, I mean, now a man can do this. She did this.
Eat your food, I got
She
you.
did this quick, according to this word. This plan that she put together to get this dude taken out is vicious because not only she used the king's power to get her desired result for him, she didn't take accountability.
That's a help.
She didn't sign her name. She didn't take her signet and put anything in law. She took her. Let's read it. I'm telling you about it before I read it. So she wrote a book in Ahab's name and sealed them with his seal and sent the book unto his elders and to the nobles that were in his city dwelling sent it to the elders of his own city. And she wrote in the book saying, proclaim a fast and set Naboth on high from among the people. Now, if we're proclaiming a fast on somebody, they done something. Now, she does not go into detail about what he did. This is an order coming from the palace. A fast and make this joker the head of your fast. I'll give you more detail when I see fit. And set 2 men of Beliar before him to bear witness against him, saying, you did blaspheme and the king, and then carry him out and stone him that he may die. See, she knew the laws of the land. She ain't from Israel. But she knew if you get 2 witnesses in front of an assembly saying the same thing, judgment has to come because that's what Israel's law was. So when she put all that in order, she carried out the sentence, said, have these 2 jokers come up and lie, say the exact same thing. Then immediately she ain't even no charm for analyzation of analyzing of what's going on by the elders. She's taking away their job.
Yeah.
I'm telling you what to do step by step. Take this joker into court, have these 2 jokers come up there and testify against him, then to go ahead and slam the gavel on him. I don't need no jury. I'm telling you what to do.
Right.
Yeah. And it says, he said 2 men of Beliar and saying that you did blaspheme Elohim, which of course we know was horrible back then, and the king, and then carry him out of storm. And then the men of his city, even the elders and the nobles who were with the inhabitants of the city, did as Jezebel had sent unto them. And as it was written in the book which she sent them, and that she had said unto them, they proclaimed the fast and set Naboth on high among the people. And there came 2 men, the children of Beliar, and sat before him. And the men of Beliar witnessed against them, even against Naboth, in the presence of the people, saying, Naboth did blaspheme Elohim and the king. And then they carried him forth out of the city and stoned him with stones that he died. Then they sent to Jezebel, saying, Naboth is stoned and is dead. And it came to pass, when Jezebel heard that Naboth was stoned and was dead, that Jezebel said unto Ahab, arise, take possession of the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite, which he refused to give you for money, for Naboth is not alive, but he is dead. And it came to pass, when Ahab heard that Naboth was dead, that Ahab rose up to go down to the vineyard of Naboth the Jezreelite to take possession of it. And then the word of Yahuwah came unto Eliyahu the Tishbite, saying, arise, go down to meet Ahab, the king of Yasharal, which is in Shomeron. Behold, Shomeron is what does it say?
Samaria.
Samaria. Okay, that's what it was. Behold, he is in the vineyard with Naboth, whether he is gone down to possess it. And you shall speak unto him, saying, thus says Yahuwah, you have you killed and also taken possession? Now, this question is very, very telling because Ahab didn't do this. The one who was with him, who he was joined unto as one, did this. Just like he came to Adam, what's going on?
Yes.
And Adam passed the buck, but he came to Adam first. Yah is always going to come to the head of the family.
That's right.
He's going to come to the one which he placed at the head. He didn't place the female at the head. So he ain't going to come to your wife and ask, why is the family doing it? He's going to come to the father, the male, who he put at the top. He said, have you killed and also taken possession? So the death, the whole plot, and the possession, all on Ahab. And you shall speak unto him, saying, thus says Yahuwah, in the place where dog licked the blood of Naboth, shall dogs lick your blood, even yours? And Ahab said to Eliyahu, have you found me, O my enemy? And he answered, he said, I have found you, because you have sold yourself to work evil in the sight of Yahuwah. Behold, I will bring evil upon you, and it will take away your posterity, your children, and will cut off from Ahab him that pisseth against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Yasharal, and will make your house like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. I always remember Jeroboam. He was the first lunchbox. And like the house of Bashan, the son of, I can't pronounce that name, for the provocation wherewith you have provoked me to anger and made Yasharal to sin. And of Jezebel also spoke Yahuwah, saying, the dog shall eat Jezebel by the wall of Jezreel. Him that dies of Ahab in the city, the dog shall eat, and him that dies in the field shall the fowls of the air eat. But there was none like unto Ahab, which did sell himself to work wickedness in the sight of Yahuwah, whom Jezebel his woman stirred up. And he did very abominably in following idols, according to all the things the Amorites whom Yahuwah cast out before the children of Yasharal. And it came to pass when Ahab heard those words that he rent his clothes, put on sackcloth upon his flesh, and fasted, and lay in sackcloth, and went softly. And the word of Yahuwah came to Eliyahu the Tishbite, saying, see how Ahab humbles himself before me? All praise to the Most High for that statement right there. Because he humbles himself before me, I will not bring the evil in his days, but in his son's days will I bring the evil upon his house. Let me tell y'all something, man. If that don't show you how the Most High respects humility, won't nothing with it. This is a king in charge of his possession who led the entire kingdom deeper into wickedness and idolatry than any king prior to him. Married a woman who was foreign and the daughter of a pagan priest. She's linked with Baal. Most High hates all that, but because he humbled himself, sackcloth and ashes, Most High said, I ain't gonna bring it to his day. I'm bringing it to his children's day. There's always a way to prick the heart of the Most High through humility and sincere repentance. His eyes are upon that. And I felt that was very, very important because I'm like, oh, this Joker just did all that. And you still. Now, it came, and I want to let y'all, I want to let you, if y'all got any revelations from that part before we go on how y'all handle both of them Jokers, I want to see what y'all had to say about that. But I thought that last part, even with all that nonsense he did, being a weak man.
What stuck out to me, the repentance. It was true repentance that Ahab did. But what stuck out to me in the story was Naboth saying, far be it from me. Far be it from me for me to allow you to take my inheritance.
Oh.
And so it made me think about what we've been talking about, how Adam and Eve just gave up their dominion. But he understood what inheritance means. He understood what power from what has been given by your father means to a bloodline. And he said, far, get that away from me. Far be it away from me for me to be.
Could you even place value on what you are?
Yeah, exactly. Far be it from me for me to even think about what you're saying right now. You know, and so once he realized the weight of that, I think that he realized the weight, Ahab realized the weight of that when he heard those words. This is what I've done. I've not only taken this man out of here, but I've literally erased his inheritance. And that's why it was so devastating what he had done, because now there is no inheritance for that bloodline. Period. It now belongs to Ahab. So this is back to the nature.
Oh.
This is back to the nature of what Yah has instilled into the likeness of what we're supposed to be living in. He had already produced the inheritance. They have now come into the land of their inheritance, and he snatched it away. So this is what he's after. Those who are snatching out the nature of his inheritance, snatching out the power and the existence of what a man is supposed to be.
What Yah has for you is for you.
It's for you.
Ain't nobody supposed to take it.
Nobody's supposed to take it, including your dominion.
I think that what was coming up for me was, it was also about Naboth, but it was how he prioritized Elohim over the king. He prioritized his obedience and the purpose that as the head of his family line over the king's request, even unto death.
Yeah.
And so his obedience, although there was he died because of it, there was a vindication because Ahab lost his inheritance as well.
Yep.
He lost his what happened, you know, Jezebel scheming, even though Ahab humbled himself, he did not see the wrath of Elohim, but his sons did,
Mhm.
and that line was erased,
Yes.
you know?
The
And
whole
so
line.
the whole line. And so
Mm.
there is a major weight
Mhm.
to the decisions that a man makes, for all of us to make, but that the man makes,
Mhm.
right? So we see Nabal's vindication, and we see that he is seen to be a man after righteousness,
Mhm.
but we also see Ahab's in him giving voice to Jezebel, removing his posterity.
Mhm.
It removed, it voided the posterity. It voided the right that he had to be, for his line to continue king,
Right.
to continue the kingly line.
That one decision.
One decision made from a pout, made from a space of already being weak.
Huh.
Mhm. And not choosing to be king.
This was not a noble posture.
Time to go.
It's 3:39.
In all honesty, I felt because something was read when you was in Genesis 3,
Mhm.
that on the back end of this, the punishments that was handed down, the most I mean, Adam never blamed God. He blamed Eve. The 66 reads like the woman you gave to be with me, she did. That's not how this reads.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? But if you got somewhere else you need to tighten up, I think somebody needs to get the back end of this. Those what he said to Adam, what he said to Eve, what he said to the serpent, and then what he said to Adam on the back end, because that brings a different type of hope to the man
Mm.
for reconciliation at some
Oh,
point.
I know. Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? But I mean, make your point. I mean, he was, you said 3:39,
Mhm.
20 minutes?
Mhm.
Let me read this real quick. I ain't even gonna stop doing the elaborate. In the same hour, we heard Archangel Michael blowing his trumpet and calling to the angels, saying, "Thus saith Yahweh, come with me to paradise and hear the judgment, which I shall judge Adam." When Elohim appeared in paradise, mounted on the chariot of his cherubim, with the angels proceeding before him and singing hymns of praises, all the plants of paradise, both of your father's lot and mine, broke out in the flowers, and the throne of Yahweh fixed. And the throne of Elohim was fixed where the tree of life was. And Elohim called Adam, saying, "Adam, where art thou? Can the house be hidden from the presence of its builder?" Then your father answered, "It is not because we think not to be found of thee, Yah, that we hide, but I was afraid because I am naked, and I was ashamed before thy might." Elohim said to him, "Who showed thee?" In the 66 say somebody told him, "Who told you was naked?"
Yeah, I told you.
They say, "Who showed you? Who showed thee that thou art naked? Unless thou hast forsaken my commandment, which I delivered thee to keep." Then Adam called to mind the word which I spake to him, as Eve talking. Then Adam called to mind the word which I spake to him, saying, "I will make thee secure before Elohim." As if it's like nigga was standing waiting for Shaw to speak up.
Mm.
You said you're gonna have my back when we get it from the master to come down to that thing. You remember? He looked at her and said, "Why hast thou done this?" And I said, "The serpent deceived me." He said, he called to mind, "I will make thee secure before Elohim." And he turned and said to me, "Why hast thou done this?" And I said, "The serpent deceived me."
Mm.
So once he thought about what Eve said, he took his attention off the Most High. He said,
Yeah.
"Damn, Shaw, you did this."
Mhm.
And she gave the beat to the serpent.
Right.
Most High addresses her. He says, God said to Adam, Elohim said to Adam, "Since thou hast disregarded my commandment and hast hearkened to thy wife, cursed is the earth in thy labor. Thou shalt work it, and it shall not give its strength. Thorns and thistles shall spring up for thee, and in the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat thy bread. Thou shalt be in manifold toils. Thou shalt be crushed by bitterness, but of sweetness shalt thou not taste. Weary shalt thou be, and shalt not rest.
Mm.
By heat shalt thou be tired, by cold shalt thou be straitened. Abundantly shalt thou busy thyself, but thou shalt not be rich, and thou shalt grow fat. But come to no end. Thou shalt grow fat, but come to no end. The beast over whom thou didst rule shall rise up in rebellion against thee, for thou hast not kept my commandments. Yahweh turned to me, to Eve, and said, since thou hast hearkened to the serpent and turned a deaf ear to my commandment, thou shalt be in throes of travail and intolerable agonies. And thou shalt bear children in much trembling, and in 1 hour thou shalt come to the birth and lose thy life from thy sore trouble and anguish. Thou shalt confess and say, Yahweh, Yahweh, save me, and I will turn no more to the sin of the flesh. And on this account, from thine own words I will judge thee, by reason of the enmity which the enemy has planted in thee. Yahweh, Yahweh, save me, I will turn no more to the sin of the flesh. And on this account, from thine own words I will judge thee, by reason of the enmity which the enemy has planted in thee. But he turned to the serpent in great wrath. He turned to the serpent in great wrath and said, since thou hast done this and become a thankless vessel, until thou hast deceived innocent hearts, accursed art thou among all beasts. Thou shalt be deprived of the victual of which thou didst eat, and shalt feed on dust all the days of thy life. On thy breast and thy belly shalt thou walk, and be robbed of hands and feet. There shall not be left thee ear nor wing, nor one limb of all that with which thou didst ensnare them in thy malice, and causest them to be cast out of paradise. I will put enmity between thee and his seed. He shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel, until the day of judgment. Thus he spake and bade the angels, have us cast out of paradise. And as we were being driven out amid our loud lamentations, your father Adam besought the angel and said, leave me a little space, that I may entreat Yahweh, that he have compassion on me and pity me, for I only have sinned. And they left off driving him, and Adam cried aloud and wept. He tried to be a man. He tried to take it for his own
Sound
way.
like Ahab.
Man, it was me. You know what I'm saying? It was just me. You know, let me holler at the whole side. He said, they left off driving. Adam cried aloud and wept, saying, pardon me, Yahweh, my deed. Then Yahweh said to the angels, why have you ceased from driving Adam from Why have you ceased from driving Adam from paradise? Why did he not cast him out? Why do ye not cast him out? Is it I who have done wrong, or is my judgment badly judged? Then the angels fell down to the ground and worshiped Yahweh, saying, thou art just, O Master, and thou judgest righteous. The angels were advocating for him. They disregarded a direct order from the Most High, so see that Adam could get this together with his creator.
They ain't
What
want
he
to
said.
get involved.
What he said, he was like, but Yahweh turned to Adam and said, I will not suffer thee henceforward to be in paradise. And Adam answered and said, grant me, O Master, of the tree of life, that I may eat of it before I be cast out. Then Yahweh spake to Adam, thou shalt not take of it down, for I have commanded the cherubim with the flaming sword and turn it to guard it from thee, that thou taste not of it. But thou hast the war which the adversary hath put into thee. Yet when thou art gone out of paradise, if thou shouldest keep thyself from all evil, as one about to die, when again the resurrection hath come to pass, I will raise thee up, and then there shall be given to thee the tree of life.
Yeah.
Woo,
Yeah, man. I
That's
knew that
good.
was coming. I remember that part. Yep.
that's good.
And then we got the plan of salvation, which is now in action.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm on the way. Y'all messed up. I'm gonna make it right. All praises to the Most High.
That's good.
Only thing I had left was how I mean, going right into the vein of him finally being a man at the end. You know what I'm saying? Seeing the mistake, and that's what the Most High wants, man. He don't want you to just look back on your mistakes and be like, "Oh, whoa, I guess it's just nah, man." He put in us the ability. It was like, you know what? You're right. Let's make it right. What I got to do from here on, that requires submission to the power that you know is there, and that's the Father. So, and the only thing I was going to bring up last was how Jehu was brought up not only to be a king, but a warrior king. Because the Most High used him, he anointed him through Elisha to go take out the king of Israel, the king of Judah, the sons of Jehu, and Jezebel. He went through, after he was anointed, he went on a killing spree. And the prophets. That's right, the prophets of Baal. He killed all them too. He went ham.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about the part when his last assassination was Jezebel. And what happened? I'm I'm just real quick. Verse 30 is 2 Kings 9, and we're gonna wrap up. 2 Kings 9, verse 30. And it says, and when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and tired her head and looked out the window. Tired her head means let down her hair. I had to look that up. I didn't understand it. Let down her hair, painted her face, doing the makeup, and looked out the window. She made herself presentable. He was coming. I want y'all to pay attention to how Jehu handled this, because it's very significant. He did not give instance to his weakness for a woman, because he was a man. So this is what happened. He said, and as Jehu entered into at the gate, not the palace where she was, but the gate, she said, has Zimri peace? Who slew his Adonai? Now I had to look at why that was said. Zimri was a warrior who was brought up and he killed his master. But then Zimri got killed by Omri, who was the father of Ahab. So she was teasing him, saying, oh, you like Zimri. Don't worry about it. One of my relatives is going to take you out as soon as you do this. But that's not what happened, because Jehu ruled for 28 years after that.
Right.
I had to look all that up. But I was like, she made herself look good, presented herself, and then teased him like, what you gonna do? Don't think that you got some power, that you about to do something. Now watch his response, because he could have reacted to that. She tried to stick him a little bit and where it hurt. You know what I'm saying? Then he said, and he lifted up his face to the window and said, who is on my side? Who? And there looked out to him 2 to 3 eunuchs. I want to pause right there. We're seeing a lot of females being more and more comfortable with gay dudes in their circle. They love rolling with a soft man, because that's a man easily manipulated. He agrees with everything she said. He's not going to present any type of resistance. Jezebel had 3 eunuchs, equivalent to 3 gay men around her. But the point that's also made is a gay man in peril will save himself above all else, because look what happened. He said, throw her down. So they threw her down. They was up in the window, said, threw her down out the window, and he said, hold up. So he threw her down, and some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horses. And he trod her underfoot. He did not go up into the castle and meet her in the room to kill her. He said, I ain't even gonna get close to this chick, because she went into a witchcraft. She put on all this stuff, made herself presentable, so I'm gonna seduce this fool, and he ain't gonna do nothing. He said, throw her down. She gonna hit the ground. I'm gonna trod her under the foot with my horse. And then when he was come in, he did eat and drink, because job was done. Glad I got that over with, boy. She was looking fine. That would have had to get her out of here. And he went in, ate and drank. He said, go, see now the cursed woman and bury her, for she is a king's daughter. And they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull. Because what the Most High said? Dogs was going to eat her. And the feet, and the palms of her hands. They had the skull, the feet, and the palms of the hands. Wherefore they came again and told him, he said, this is the word of Yahuwah, which he spoke to the servant Elisha the Tishbite, saying, in the portion of Jezreel shall dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel, and the carcass of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say this is Jezebel. So he went, Most High went and gave the words. Not only is she going to be eaten, she's going to be out. And he decided to put that in there. So he went the full length of the destruction of this woman, because she caused so much trouble.
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters, glad y'all joined us for this. You see the points that have been made. I pray the Holy Spirit bring that back upon you. You know what I'm saying? Throughout the course of this week. If you have these challenges in your own life, if you see yourself struggling with this submissive spirit that Ahab had as a man, go to the Most High. He's going to refresh you. He's going to renew you. He's going to restore you. He's going to show you what your purpose is. He's going to expect you to walk in it. He's going to help you do it. Women, if you see any bit of Jezebel in your spirit, in your life, bring that joint under submission to the Most High. Because he's not going to have everything out of order. He's not going to let things continue to be chaotic. When you seek him in sincerity, he will show mercy. Look what he did to Ahab after jacking up. So I ain't going to bring all this evil upon him right now. I'm going to wait a bit. But his judgment still came true, but he had mercy. So seek the Most High, especially in all your weaknesses and whatever else you're dealing with. And he's going to take care of you. Anybody else got?
Man, I would need about another hour.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it. I said that joint kind of weak. We did plenty of it. Joints.
I would just say to read 2 Corinthians 10, 5, and 6, because we need a strategy, right? And the strategy is to shift your mindset, change your mind. And the way to do that is to refute every argument that is not, that sets us at enmity with truth. So 2 Corinthians 10.
2 Corinthians 10. those scriptures that we came from, it's First Kings 20:21, and then Second Kings 9. Also, if you got the additional books, Ecclesiasticus chapter 26 is a good one for women to read in order to see what they should not be like at all. Like just like Proverbs 31, you'll see what you should be like. If you read Ecclesiasticus, not Ecclesiastes, written by Sirach, write that down, chapter 26. It talks about the wicked woman and how the Most High ain't got no pleasure in it. He talks about her ways, her maneuvers, straight up describing the spirit in which we talked about today.
And it lines up with Proverbs 31, because it's both. He addresses the man first in that,
He does.
in that chapter.
We're gonna get together, man. And the women gonna learn their position too. That's the Most High said he gonna clean up on the back. He gonna do it. We can't do it. I mean, it's good to acknowledge it. True. Y'all gotta be the one to fix it. He allowed it to be messed up. You have to be the one to fix it. But I'm gonna ask Jen to close out. That's why I'm praying.
Y'all, we honor you and we bless you. We thank you for this time. We thank you for bringing us into the truth, for being the truth. We thank you right now for disclosing to us your way, your order, your kingdom, your likeness, your dominion, and letting us know what your plan is, what your purpose is for us, and why we are here. We ask that you will search our hearts for any place of rebellion, any place of rebellion that will cause us to diminish our yes, diminish our obedience, and even that we will be strong enough to face the truth when we are met with places in our hearts that want to contend. We thank you that contending, the contending in our flesh is falling. It's falling to the ground and it's burning up in holy fire. We honor you and we bless you. And we ask that that everything that you brought to us today, that we will be able to not just recall it, but it will become a part of us, that we will be able to chew it like cows chew the cud. They bring it back up and they eat it again. So we ask that you will take this word and that you will cause us to rehearse it, that it will become a part of us, that it will be the nourishment for us to bring fresh life and truth to our minds, to our lifestyles, to our postures. And we bless you and we honor you. In Yahushua's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. This has been Real Talk 101, The Devil Exposed, here on a Sunday afternoon from 2 to 4 p.m. Until the next time we meet, may Yah bless and keep you.
See, truth, not the traditions of men.
Where?
Thank y'all.
Good,
Thank y'all.
good work.